already compressed from 100 something. But I think it's still simple, no calculation, no anything special method, so you can still verify yourself. I already uploaded in the drive as well. The next one is about observation sampling. So, I remember the next meeting is about experimental sampling. That's why I already mentioned that maybe we will learn about design of experiment in this course. The observation sampling is different with design experiment. For observational study, we collect the data or information that is currently occurring in an actual system. And in observational study, researchers observe a process or system without disturbing it as little as possible and record the observed data. And well, for design experiment, collect data or information through experiment with pre-designed condition. We can control using set control variable at specific level in a process or system and record the response data. So in observational, we just observe the data that concurrently happen right now. However, for design experiment, we can control the experimental, the experimental performing. Yeah. We can control the experimental performing. What kind of variable we want to observe, we want to explore, what kind of, how many sample we want to explore, and anything else. But different with the observational, we can manage how many variable will be included in our observational study. So the outline for this slide, starting from basic principle of observational sampling, and then the step, and the next one is probability sampling and non-probability sampling, and the last one, I still remember last time, asked about how to calculate the sample size. So we will discuss the sample size. Maybe not in this week, the next meeting we will discuss about the sample size. And there is some additional information about acceptance sampling. I'm not sure it will include in this course or not, but in quality control, this is the compulsory material that you should study about acceptance sampling. But I still give you some information about acceptance sampling, not in detail, just in brief explanation, and the detail we will study in quality control material.
Okay.
In 5th semester. For the basic principle, so observation is the process of observing fact and phenomena on the object of study from relevant data source carefully and thoroughly to collect the data and information required for the study objective. And here, there is some element that include in observation, such as object, environment, instrument, operator, and also method. Operator or researcher is the similar one. And why we use sampling, not census? Because maybe the researcher found that there is a large population are impossible to study in their entirety. So in the last year of your undergraduate study, you will have around 1 semester in ideal time, 1 semester to finish your final project. But if you cannot finish in 1 semester, you still have the next semester. But hopefully only 4 years you spend in our department, right? So yeah, just 6. That's good. Okay. Yeah, maximum 4 years to spend. So you will have around 1 semester to 2 semester to finish your final project. There is a limited time. There is a constraint not only for the fund, maybe the time and also the resource. That's why our student usually not using population as the primary data, but they took from sample to analyze in the further analysis. And the last one, and the next one, constraints include limited resource time, cost, and human resource, I already mentioned. And research on a sample can be more reliable because more observation allow the deterioration of the measuring instrument as well as fatigue thoroughness of the measure. So it's not for all research. Maybe some research who use destructive testing. If we use destructive testing to observe some sample or to get some data, there is a lot of cost and also resource that may be destroyed after we make some tests. That's why we just put on sample as our primary data. And homogeneous population will relatively small variance make research on the entire population unreasonable. Okay. And for sampling principle, there's a lot of sampling principle, but the first one is each member of the population has one equal chance of being selected as sample. So, how we can make sure that each member of the population has an equal chance to be selected as a sample? We just discussed it earlier. We have big population and we need to determine who is our sample. How we make sure that our sample is have equal chance from part of population? By take it randomly. By take it randomly. So don't take it by using any reason because you know it or because this is have a high GPA or is has what can I say? Is from Malang or any other reason. Please take it as randomly. That's why all of the students will have the equal chance to be the sample, to be selected as a sample. And the other principle, please study by yourself, and I will move to the next one. Sampling process. Okay. Still have time. Sampling process. The first step is determining the scope of the population that will be the focus of the study, and constructing a sampling frame that include a possible member or even in the population, choosing a sample method, and then determining the sample size, developing a sampling plan, and implementing sampling and data collection, till the last one, evaluating and sorting the representative data. So, is it important to determining the scope of the population? Let's say we have two research with the different scope of population. The first research mentioned that the population is the student in Universitas Brawijaya. The second research mentioned that the population is only industrial engineering student, the active industrial engineering student. So, when we try to the second step, constructing a sampling frame. Yeah. Do you think in the first research, is it okay if we just take the sample from industrial engineering department for the first research? That the population is Universitas Brawijaya.
I think we can take from the other faculties, maybe or maybe also medicine.
Yeah, that's good. So when we know that the scope of the population is large, yeah, we have to know the context and the scope. The scope of population in the first research is Universitas Brawijaya. So it's not good if we just take it from industrial engineering department as a sample. But in the second research, it's the different one. The second research already determined that the scope is industrial engineering student. Then, if you take from industrial engineering student with randomly, it's still okay. Maybe you take only 30 students from 800. Is it okay? But it will be false if we not only take from industrial engineering, but other department, because the scope is
Only for industry.
so this is important to define what is the scope of our population in our research. And there is some method to get the observational data. We can using random sampling. So how to make random sampling? We have 100 students in our department, but we just want to take 30 students. So how to take it randomly? So there is some method. The first one is you can use using random number. Random number. So we use Excel and then find 30 random number from 1 to 800. And we can found only 30 number random with the range from 1 to 800, and we can take it randomly. Now, this is the first one. And the second one, using randomization tools or lotteries. We can give the student with lotteries. Someone will, let's say, red ball. So it will take us the sample. But the white ball is not take us the sample.
Or maybe we can
Or
write all the name of the students, maybe in the piece of
Yeah.
paper.
That also
Put it
can
in
work.
books, yeah.
You can make it in the name of student and then take it. And using dice, you can also using dice in this form. Using computer-based randomization algorithm. Yeah, there is a lot of method, but usually we just use Excel and put random between, for example, 1 to 800, and then sort it, and we can obtain the random number. Or you can also use your calculator using RND. If you have scientific calculator, just put RND and try to press it every time, yeah, and there is will some number. Okay, and the next one, is about the sampling method. So there is probability sampling and non-probability sampling. I think it's the important material from sampling method. Probability sampling include simple random sampling, systematic random sampling, stratified and cluster random sampling. When non-probability sampling, like convenience, accidental, opportunistic, till the judgment or purposive. We will discuss it in the next meeting. But I will show you how we define about the sampling from probability and non-probability. When the probability is simple, then we call it the method as simple random sampling. When it's systematic, we call it systematic random, and so on. And also for non-probability, if we get the respondent by voluntary, usually we spread our questionnaire and someone will call to us voluntarily. It will call us snowball of self-selection. Snowball means that, for example, I distribute the information to Ahmed because Ahmed is the chair for this class. And after that, Ahmed will distribute the information to all of you. It means a snowball. Or not only Ahmed, in the chair of different class, I also contact him and ask him to distribute the information. and that's why there is a snowball from the small information and you bigger. And from the method selection, considering the following requirement for a representative sample, there is 4 requirements. The first one, every member of the population has an equal chance of being selected for the sample. I think it's similar with the previous slide. So just ignore it. The sample is drawn from the population. The sample is not duplicated, and the random distribution of the sample represents the population distribution. Okay. Let's end to this slide. So we will discuss about probability sampling in more detail in the next meeting. Do you have any question before we move?